Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first adventure of our advent, one which we've entitled The Grimhollow Estate. Before we get into our first adventure, as always, we are going to take a brief moment and introduce our characters. So, without further ado, let us begin tonight with Sunny, the sun's radiance. Hello, Sunny.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
I'm doing quite well, Sunny, and you?
Oh, great.
Tell me, Sunny, are you excited for the Halloween season? And by, of course, Halloween, I do mean the Carnival of Souls. Do you enjoy this kind of scary time of year?
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, fair enough. I couldn't have said it better myself. Did you have any particular way of celebrating the Carnival of Souls back in your kind of kingdom? Any particular traditions or rituals that you guys do?
Oh, yeah. We decide who's one of our people. We decide they're a witch, and then fire. So it's
Witch hunts is what you're saying.
yes, yes,
Yes, I understand witch hunting. Well, I'm sorry to hear that in some ways, but hopefully they're actually terrifying and evil hags like the Bitter Sisters, which have plagued the land of DnDTime for a long time.
No, they're just a person we put a hat on.
Yeah, that's kind of what I suspected, but I guess at least the mob is conscious that they're just that they are just taking down an innocent. But Sunny, aside from any of these, fun Carnival of Souls festivities, how are you? Have you picked up what your Halloween trinket is? Because I know Bartholomew had put out sort of a, rather than have people, come and be there to hand out Carnival of Souls treats to people that came, he just kind of left out one of those bowls that said "take one" on it. What did you take?
The whole bowl.
Oh, you just took the bowl. Because there was a number of bowls also inside of the bowl.
Yes.
I think you might have accidentally grabbed one of those, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. So you have the bowl of candy, which has healing candies within that you've chosen. It sounds like.
Yep.
Excellent. And Sunny, welcome back. It is good to have you with us once more.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Next up, we have joining us tonight, the Blossomer Floran Sorcerer. We have Zewxip. Hello again, Zewxip.
Hello, it's a pleasure to return.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you back. Zewxip, tell me, how are you doing in the scariest time of year?
Oh, it's absolutely terrifying. There's less and less sun every day, and it's getting a little chilly.
Yes, that's true. The air is suddenly crisp, it seems like, outside. This is a hard time of year for you, is it, Zewxip?
Well, we don't necessarily mind the color change. This is when we would get an equivalent of what others might get a tan in the summer.
What kind of changes in your particular form when the season shifts for you, Zewxip?
Oh, well, little coloration change. I appear a little wilty, which is usually why this time of year, well, before I started actively, oh, there I go again with that eye. I'm getting so much more comfortable using that. Interesting. Anyway, that's why I've been sailing, and I would go out to the seas where it's warmer and the days don't shorten as much. But now since I've been adventuring, well, it's been different. And I look forward to experiencing it and continuing to grow. I know that several other Zewxips have had tales of other cultures they've been to and how they celebrate this time of year.
Well, I look forward to seeing how you kind of choose to embrace the season in your own kind of new way now that you're kind of coming into this individuality for yourself. And as Zewxip, you have kind of been making a lot of choices with the eye. What did you pick from the kind of bowl that Bartholomew had left out of Halloween goodies?
Well, this Zewxip is going to choose the Fallen Cloak.
Ooh, I can certainly see the appeal. Some of the appendages of your brethren in a lot of way, kind of wrapped up into this beautiful cloak, which I believe also you can just kind of look like a pile of leaves if you fall down while you're wearing that, right?
Well, perhaps I couldn't already do that, but it doesn't hurt to do it in style.
That's certainly true, and it looks very dashing on you, I will say, Zewxip. Zewxip, I welcome you back. Next up, we have joining us Sarah Galanodel. Sarah, hello.
I see that once again he has evaded me, and that you instead take his place.
Hi, yes, that's me. I'm Pete. I know that you have some issues with Jeremy, but Sarah, I hope that someday you can overcome these differences.
I never forgive, and I never forget.
We'll have to look into maybe some type of modified memory situation. It seems to be it seems to be Jeremy's only hope at this point. But Sarah, aside from your vendetta that you have against our fellow introducer of sorts around here, how are you enjoying the Carnival of Souls season, the festivities?
Well, as you know, I enjoy this season greatly. It's one of my most favorite of all. After all, it is my birth month.
Indeed, indeed. Now, as a necromancer of sorts, Sarah, tell me, do you is it easier to practice in those ways around this time of year?
Yes.
I mean, that's a fair answer. It just is. Yeah, I would imagine that, if you're ever going to be kind of bringing up any zombies or skeletons, it'd have to be a lot simpler to do so when people are just kind of thinking that those might be decorations, because a lot of those happen around the Carnival of Souls. Any other particular activities you get up to around this time, Sarah?
Well, we usually have my birthday celebration. Usually end up saving the world from Lemek.
Yeah.
Along with the rest of the family. And we get a little treat from Bartholomew. Which
What'd you
this
get this
time
year?
I have a nice cloak with a bunch of leaves and shit.
Oh, okay. You took the fallen cloak as well, which Zewxip has also had. You see that you guys kind of match as you guys are walking up towards your adventure today. But
I have this strange feeling that since falling prone doesn't take an action or bonus action, a lot of adventurers are going to choose this.
Mayhaps we'll have to wait and see.
And people being knocked unconscious counts as falling prone.
That is also true.
Automatic disappearing when you're dead.
I mean, not automatic, but a better shot.
Fixed shot.
Yes. Well, Sarah, welcome back. It's good to have you once more.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have joining us Frostbyte, the Ice Assassin. Hello, Frostbyte.
Hello there.
Frostbyte, tell me, how are you enjoying the season?
I'm enjoying it quite well, actually.
Some of that colder weather is coming in. I imagine that's something that you're a fan of?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it does make the season does make it easier to catch prey, but
I just
it's
thought
also, but sometimes it's killing people with. Sometimes people tend to during the winter months, people tend to kill themselves with ice more often than I get the chance to.
Yes. A lot of accidents, people kind of slipping, icicles falling down. There's all sorts of accident-prone activities, I suppose, that happen now, although you're not quite into that territory yet, just in the kind of the pleasant weather shift.
Yes, it's a pleasant weather shift, so. But
Do you celebrate the Carnival of Souls in any way, Frostbyte? Do you have any kind of particular rituals or traditions you go about?
well, we insects have a similar. Those of us who live in the hive.
Yes, back at the Hive.
Yes.
You say you kind of do a similar holiday.
Yes, we have a similar holiday, but I won't go into the specifics of it here.
Understand. Have you chosen an item? Did you get a chance to take one from Bartholomew's, kind of little bowl that he left out?
I have, and
What'd you go with?
I think, if I remember correctly, it was that cloak of enshrouding darkness.
Ah, yes. The Cloak of Enshrouding Darkness. Do you have it pulled up over right now? Because I believe that cloak can kind of like cover over and make your face difficult to see. Definitely a useful tool for an assassin.
Yes.
Very good. And that black vapor that trails behind you, I mean, it's not necessary, but it's very cool. Very good. With that, let us begin tonight's adventure, and the first adventure here of the Carnival of Souls. You find yourselves, all of you, walking along a fairly well-trodden dirt path within a dense forest. It kind of curves and cuts through. And you're walking alongside Bartholomew. The leaves are changing, and they're kind of crunching under your feet. A lot of the gnarled branches are already stripped as they kind of twist up and around you. You can hear in the distance what sound like wolf cries, crows kind of caw as you work your way along this path. It's getting late in the day, the sun is sort of setting. And all of you hold in your hands what appear to be invitations. Wherever you were, about a few days ago now, you all received an invitation to come to a place called the Grimhollow Estate, a manor here on the kind of, outskirts of the land of DnDTime that, well, none of you had really ever heard of. But it was inviting you and apparently all of the adventurers here in Bartholomew's Adventuring Company to a fabulous dinner here. It's promised a feast. It seems to be one in appreciation of all of the service that you have done for the land of DnDTime through your adventuring with Bartholomew. And they wanted to treat Bartholomew's Adventuring Company to a meal here at this estate. You're walking alongside Bartholomew now. It's a little bit later in the day, and Bartholomew had sort of taken a small group of you aside as apparently he had some type of mission he wanted to discuss specifically with you as you were approaching. Bartholomew is also carrying an invitation, and that is where we come into this adventure, is as you walk down this kind of twisting path. You haven't breached through the forest to see the estate itself, but you know you're getting close. Bartholomew looks over at you.
All right, well, we can't quite see it yet, but it looks like we are getting close. I think we should be here relatively soon, up here at Grimhollow, as it were. How are you all tonight? Are you ready for a big meal? It sounds like it should be pretty tasty.
What's going to be served?
I don't know, actually. It's just, well, based on the invitation.
And there is some kind of lavish description. Not any specifics, but, a lot of adjectives, a lot of scrumptiouses, and things of that nature in the invitation.
It says scrumptious twice right here in the invitation, so I assume it will be good.
Well, either way, it is I believe that it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for us to visit this estate, if I'm to understand correctly.
Indeed it is. That's why I'm coming, because, I don't know if you got this. This is obviously a trap, right?
Yes, of course, it's obviously a trap.
It's Carnival of Souls. Something always happens, and here we just get a couple of days beforehand, come to a secluded manor. This actually, it used to belong to a colleague of mine, a good friend, and well, this is sort of the reason why I wanted to talk to all of you. You see, my friend there, he was he was wealthy? A very wealthy individual. You understand perfectly.
Yes.
He's a very wealthy individual, and it was prone to certain idiosyncrasies. He would hide his treasures throughout strange and sort of miscellaneous places throughout the manor. So, even though I'm pretty sure it's a trap, I don't know. Whoever must have bought the place, as he died a couple of years back, and whoever must have bought the place now perhaps they don't know about the treasures within. So we're going to eat. We're going to take what we can from my dear departed, and then, we'll skedaddle before whatever they have planned comes to fruition. And if there's anything I can't assume anything too terrible. So, we all on the same page?
Yep,
Right.
we're gonna steal from your dead friend. Got it.
Yes.
Yes, well, we're not stealing from our dead friend. We're stealing from whatever strange person has, invited us to this dinner.
And he's kind of continuing forward through, and you're starting to get a little bit closer to the manor now. As you're cresting through the trees, they're starting to thin out, and the winding path is leading up to a hill. The whole space does seem to be surrounded by this forest, but you can see it leads up to a hill, and a very, very elaborate-looking manor sits kind of resting atop it, monolithic in the monolithic against the kind of setting sun there.
I suppose now would be a bad time to mention that I may have someone here I might have to kill.
Well, it's in particularly troubling because mostly, from what I understand, the only people I'm aware that have been invited would be other members of our adventuring troupe. So they're going to be hard to kill, as, well, there's no PvP in the land of DnDTime.
Well, no, I understand that, but somebody, after plenty of died and invites you, said there is a target within that I might need to dispose of for them.
Well,
Though they weren't quite clear on who it was, but...
Understood. Well, I will trust that you use your best judgment. As long as it doesn't interfere with your work with me, you, of course, are welcome to carry out whatever other jobs that you need to do.
All right.
And as you're walking up to the manor now, you guys are coming a little bit later in the day from what Bartholomew was saying. Most people should probably already have kind of gotten here and filtered in. But you see up in the distance a figure that seems to be kind of like hovering outside of the building, kind of readying themselves, waiting to go in. They're of medium height. They're wearing some pretty grandiose looking robes that are kind of red and frilled out, and carrying a staff not entirely dissimilar to Bartholomew's. As you approach, you see Lemic.
Bartholomew! Whoa, what are the odds? You weren't invited to this place too, were you?
Ah, I see how it is. Yes, what a strange coincidence, Lemic. Yes, we were also invited to this place.
I can't believe it, Carnival. So, I mean, I'm only here for like 3 weeks a year, and sometimes 4, depending. And God, I can't believe it, you're actually here. That's wonderful. And you
Yep.
brought all your friends.
Yep, everyone's here, it seems. So, Lemic, yes, you were also invited to this event. You're not just here.
The Lich Lemic kind of like leans back and he looks at Bartholomew like, he gives him a look like, you're questioning me. But then he goes, no, of course, yeah. I got an invitation just a few days ago.
May I see it?
He fishes around in his robes. Ah, man, I don't have any pockets. I must have dropped it in the woods.
Yes, okay.
Nemec, weren't you in the bush outside of Bartholomew's shop a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I was. You see, Bartholomew, I meant to say hi earlier. I've been taking evil management class.
Evil
And-
management classes, okay.
Yeah, I've turned over a new leaf. I'm a good guy now.
Oh, well, that's great news. I'm so glad to hear it. So,
Yeah, I mean, crazy. Just, a few weeks after my evil management classes, and we both get a meeting to this mysterious place in the woods. I mean, God, it's fortuitous.
fortuitous is the exact word that I would use to describe it. So, you have, well, caused trouble every Carnival of Souls ad infinitum as far as I can remember, and now we receive a mysterious invitation to a mansion here in the woods, and you are also here, but you do not have an invitation, and you've turned over a new leaf.
Oh, I dropped it, but yeah, that's about right.
All right. Well, shall we all enter then?
I'm
Yes.
gonna go set up some party games in the back. Feel free to join me out there if you want. I guess
I'll
you
be-
could bring your friends too.
I'll be in the foyer then. Good day, Namek. Bartholomew kind of nods and goes and kind of steps swiftly into the manor.
Bartholomew, did you want some Katy Perry soundtrack to go with your harumph?
I'm not familiar with that individual. Was that a tabaxi or something?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. No, I'm fine. It's just...
Kitty Purry.
And yes, that's what I was implying. And he looks over at Lemek, who's walking around to the back to set up games, it sounds like. It's just, it's hard to believe the nerve.
Can you imagine if there was a greater evil that invited all of the powerful wizards to the table at once, such as Grandelf, Lemek, yourself, in order to wipe out all of the other powerful wizards in one fell swoop and claim the title as their own?
I suppose that's possible, but I don't think, there's no one that could beat me. So all of us in one space would be inconceivable.
You do have your weaknesses, such as your greed.
I don't think that's a weakness. I think it's a strength. I'm always striving to find new things. That's a virtue, I would say.
I would say that's the perfect bait for a trap, but, very well.
Well, they did get me with it. As he looks down at the invitation and is knowingly walking into a trap to get money. Let's stop lollygagging outside. There's a bit of a chill in the air. Why don't we acclimate ourselves to the interior here?
Well, I'm sure that Bartholomew isn't just sending us in here just because he wants more riches. There's a chance that one of the items that his dearly departed friend could be dangerous in the wrong hands, and he wants us to retrieve said item.
That is absolutely true. I don't know what kind of things he might have stowed away in here. I guess we'll have to take a look and see what we find.
Yes, just try not to grab onto anything that's cursed, Bartholomew, yes?
I'll do my... Well, I'm going to trust you to grab everything, so I will circle that advice back to you.
Oh. Oh, I see what's happening here. We're face to face with danger, and it's bad.
I don't fully get that one, but come on in. And Bartholomew opens the door and steps into the building proper. Do you all follow, or is there anything you want to do before you hop in?
Is there something I want to do? I want to cast all of the buffs, but I can't.
All right. In that case, you
there are a couple things if I can get them in.
Please.
I will serve some appetizers to the three others in the group here from the handbasket that gives everyone the aid spell.
Oh, wonderful.
Pre-drinking. I love pre-drinking.
You all gain 5 max hit points. Everyone save for you, correct? Is it?
Yeah, it's 3 administrations of these little kind of like warm dumplings or whatnot.
Yes, they're very tasty. Do you all accept and eat?
Yes.
Yep.
Very good.
I'm also going to protect myself.
All right, and that lasts for 10 minutes. Okay, cool.
And, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you cast a spell of protection on yourself, warding yourself. Do you have to choose, or is it just all? It's just all, right?
It's just all, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, yeah, it's broken.
And, that was what I thought I did. And, Maddie, what else did you want to do?
I would like to, if I haven't been doing it, walking through the woods, perhaps outside this mansion, I could find some handfuls of like acorns, mushrooms, other plants that have gone to seed for the autumn, and I'd like to collect that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Make a survival check.
Sorry, 1 second.
Just to forage as you're we're walking up. We'll say that you had done this as you were coming.
Survival or nature?
I would say that this is probably survival.
Is this at advantage with the amount of time that I had, or is this just straight up?
Sure, I'll give you advantage. Why not? That's fine. 6. Rough. You found acorns. You found, a few kind of like small saplings of different trees that were
Probably not going to make it through the winter, but you've kind of chosen to save. You're not finding anything in the way of like mushrooms or anything more elaborate, but you get at least a few simple seeds.
Okay. Yep, that works.
And yeah, you guys now step into Grimhollow Manor. And as you do so, you see before you a very kind of grandiose looking foyer. As you step in, around you, the first kind of central chamber here, there are kind of very beautiful paintings along the sides of the walls. You can see like a staircase that leads up and splits into a couple of different directions, and balconies that lead up along into kind of other passages deeper into the estate here. A grand chandelier hangs above and casts kind of a dim light over the interior. It sways just ever so slightly from the wind kind of coming in through the door as you step into the space. And Bartholomew is in there, just kind of like stretching out a little bit and taking in the scene. You can see up ahead there are already a number of other adventurers from Bartholomew's shop that you recognize, most of, that are kind of walking ahead and doing other activities in the manor here on the kind of ground floor. But almost immediately, as you step in, a voice kind of speaks to you from the side and calls out, "Good evening, sirs, and welcome to Grimhollow." And as you look over to the side, you can see what appears to be a butler. They are dwarven, although they are completely perfectly shaved, devoid of beard, perfectly shaven head, and they're also not as stout as you would expect a butler to be. They appear to be, a lot more thin, and they're wearing a very nice, beautiful black suit with coattails that hang a little bit behind them. They're standing at perfect attention as they greet you as you come in.
Ah, a gnome. Very rare in the lands of DnDTime.
And he kind of responds, "I am actually a dwarf. My name is Mr. Godfrey. It is a pleasure to welcome you to the estate, Mistress Sarah." He kind of bows very deeply as you come in.
My mistake. I apologize.
Your apologies are unnecessary. May I take any of your coats, weapons, armor?
Actually, yes. Takes the duffel bag of Galanodels.
Yep. Handing him the duffel bag?
Yep.
Very well.
The rest I'll keep, thank you.
As you wish, my lady. I will put this into the coat room. And for the rest of you.
Oh, yeah, here, you can take my blade. And I hand him my pack of the blade, and then as I hand it to him, I make it disappear, and then I hand it to him again and make it disappear.
All right, he takes it the second time, and as after the second time, he kind of looks at you and he goes, "A very good joke, sir, and well observed." And the rest of you, Master Zewxip?
Frostbyte hands him a dagger.
Ah, Master Frostbyte. Thank you very much. I will see that it is properly stowed. Our weapon racks are immaculate.
All right.
Well,
Yes, I'm keeping.
Is there a coat check number that I should be receiving?
you may simply at any time speak to me, Mr. Godfrey, and I will assure you that your things are properly returned.
Thank you very much, Mr. Godfrey.
But of course, I live to serve. If there's anything, again, at any time that any of you require while here in the manor, I am happy to be of assistance. Again, simply speak my name.
Mr. Godfrey,
Yes,
a glass of good berry wine?
this can be easily done. I'll get to it immediately, mistress. And he kind of smiles and kind of again bows deeply, and he looks to the rest of you. Is there anything else that any of you would like?
Well, if everyone else is giving you something, I'm afraid I'm quite, you understand we don't really have a need for clothing or armor. Here, please take this. And I will break off a part of myself. Kind of customary by now, but I'll break a part of myself off and hand it to him.
You rip off an arm.
Yep.
And he goes, "Are you certain you won't require this, sir?"
Oh, we'll be fine. Don't worry. Just make sure it's put someplace out of the way. Someplace you feel secure with.
You would be more comfortable if you were to be relieved of objects to be given back to you. Not that you need to give something to him, Zewxip.
Oh.
Her words are indeed accurate, but the choice is yours. If you wish me to take it and put it in the closet with everything else, it is, again, my duty to serve.
Please, yes. I wish to make sure that I am participating as well. And as I am armed, you have my arm.
Very well. And if I can get anyone else any food or beverages or hors d'oeuvres while we wait for dinner. It should be starting in just a few hours now.
Did you say dirt? I could use dirt.
Dirt.
Oh,
yes.
That would be wonderful, Sonny.
I can get that for both of you. Yes. Looks to you. Frostbyte hasn't ordered anything yet. Do you want anything?
Do you have any scorpion wine?
We have a old vintage and a good one. I'll see to it that it's brought to you immediately. And with that,
I call out to Bartholomew. Bartholomew, you want anything?
I'm fine. I'm good. I can just conjure it.
and he's very dismissive. You see Bartholomew is already starting to like walk around the inside and just starting to like inspect things.
Yeah.
Can
I also like make a perception check as I'm trying to like keep this dwarf like occupied?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make me a perception check. Something particular you're looking, just trying to take in the space.
I'm trying to look for like display cases. I'm trying to look for like rooms that look like they might be of importance, or I'm trying to like count how many doors there are in this main entrance.
Okay, yeah, and with a 17, you do so. You take a good stock of the interior of the room. And in terms of rooms, like there's a lot of doors at the top. A lot of them look pretty even, and there's hallways upstairs that lead further in. You can't see any, there's not a lot of doors like here on the ground floor. It looks like most stuff is upstairs that isn't kind of, beyond like the simple public access areas. And you see a lot of people that are milling about and walking around in the main space that's up ahead, kind of past the staircases leading up. Currently, the other noticeable thing is Bartholomew seems to have really kind of tuned in on a clock that sits across in the main foyer. A very nice looking grandfather clock that's kind of just slowly ticking across the other side of the room.
Frostbyte's gonna look around to see if he can't find any spider webs.
Very well. Mr. Godfried walks off with your things, and you begin kind of looking around for spider webs. Make an investigation check as you're looking for that.
All right.
I'd like to walk with Bartholomew, kind of like put my arm in his arm towards the clock and say, "Oh, would you look at the timepiece on that?"
Yes, the timepiece indeed.
And the minute hand, which is kind of slowly encircling around, you can see one of the hands is the hour hand is like a regular, just kind of straight hand on the clock. And the minute hand has this weird kind of like bend to it, and it's almost like torn in places, it looks like. And Bartholomew kind of reaches up to it, and you see him open up like the front of the clock to expose the mechanism, and you see him just pluck off the minute hand and grab onto it. And as he does so, you see it kind of curls and unfoils into what looks like some type of horn almost.
Bartholomew, yes, this is a classic. He always had ways of hiding things in strange places. Change the appearance of objects, things like that. You're going to be looking for just anything that's even a touch a touch unusual. This looks to be a curled unicorn horn. It's a very potent spellcasting implement if you know what to do with it. So, things could be very well hiding in plain sight if you keep your eyes open. And then Bartholomew, see him just kind of like conjure a new minute hand onto the clock so it doesn't look too out of place.
Mm-hmm.
They could, you could find things in any form and in any place. So, as much as you can. At this point, Godfrey returns with all of your, he comes up with 2 just very large pots of dirt. I was uncertain the amount that either of you required, so I obtained as much as I could in the time frame that I had. And he hands each of you your respective glasses of wine.
Oh, this would be great. Awesome. Thanks. And I just step into the pot and just sit.
Same.
And as he hands you your scorpion wine, Frostbyte, you're kind of around looking for spider webs you've mentioned, and he hands you the scorpion wine. You are looking for a missive, am I correct?
Yes.
One did, in fact, come for you, Mr. Frostbyte. If you would. And kind of gestures over to the side, and there in the corner, you can see a small... you can kind of just see a small kind of tangled web, which in Thieves' Cant, a fairly cryptic message was left for you. And it just says, "Dunk the trunk." You don't know what that means.
Dunk the trunk?
Yes, presumably something to do with your target.
Alright.
In that case, and Mr. Gottfried kind of steps away and kind of bows once more deeply. Please consider yourselves at home while you're here, and if you require my assistance, I will provide it for you as fast as dwarvenly possible. And with one more bow, he steps and walks briskly out of the space, and you are now alone with Bartholomew.
Bartholomew, I think that perhaps if you find that dwarf's beard, he would be in service to you. I think his beard is being held hostage.
The beard is his power play. I'll have to look into that. While I check that out, why don't all of you, you seem to be gone at the moment, I don't know. And you said we had the run of the place, so I guess there's no harm in you all going around to look at explore the manor a bit. And he kind of looks over at the 4 of you and kind of like gestures upstairs, like, why don't you all get a move on, bring back anything you find to me, and of course, you're being paid appropriately.
Okay.
We'll be done before dinner, so you can still enjoy whatever the feast has to offer, I'm sure.
Alright.
Alright, in that case, Bartholomew kind of goes about, like, carousing. You see him kind of step out of the room, and some of the adventurers up ahead, he just kind of, you Chunkus, wonderful to see you. Kind of like pats him on the back and starts walking off further into the space.
You notice something weird. Sarah seems to be avoiding any contact with any of the other Galanodels.
Good to know. Also, good to do. You guys take a moment to soak in the dirt, but you are now just here in the foyer alone. What do you all wish to do?
I go upstairs.
All right. You begin working your way up the. You begin working your way up the steps and into the higher floors of the manor here. As you're going through, there are kind of 3 doors on each side that kind of line the space leading further in. The building was vast, and you imagine doors within doors, all that. What do you wish to do?
I entered door number 5.
All right, you just choose to go to the right and then go to the second door there on the right, arbitrarily for your kind of first step here. And as you open that one, what you seem to be walking into appears to be a study. You can see kind of roaring at the back of it, there is a fairly kind of like pleasant fireplace here. That's over there, just sort of roaring away.
There are, a few bookshelves. You can see a chair, desks, a couple of like very nice lounge chairs. One of the rugs with the bear head at the front of it is kind of laid out on the floor. Bearskin rug. Yeah, that's where you kind of walk into here.
Do you want to move on to the rest of the people first?
I mean, I don't know. Are you guys going to be moving as a kind of a pack, or do you want to all? I would assume that you guys are kind of sticking together, right?
I think we should split the party.
Yeah,
I think we should split the party, yeah.
Yeah, we can cover more area this way.
Yeah. You guys want to split the party to cover more ground?
I do have a question though. Would Sarah have been notified of this like a day in advance that she could like have prepared a spell?
Yeah, I'll say sure. What are you looking for?
Bartholomew would have like given them a heads up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be taking detect magic.
That's fine. Absolutely.
Yeah. So in the study, I cast said spell.
Ritual casting.
No, I'll blow the load.
All right, you cast detect magic, and you begin to kind of pan out around you. It would seem within the space there are a few sources of magic. Those are the candles on the mantle and the fireplace. They both seem to be evocations for eternal flames, is the vibe that you're getting. As there doesn't seem to be any, wood actually kind of fueling the fireplace, just a few kind of decorative logs more than anything. And there's not like a ton of smoke that seems to be rising out of it here. On the bookshelf, you also catch a couple of just dings of magic that you're not quite being able to nail down what the type is, but there are a few books here that appear to be magical in nature.
Bartholomew just said grab whatever you can, right?
Yeah, anything that seems anything that seems like basically suspicious, things that seem like treasures.
So these candles just have the spell Eternal Flame cast on them. They aren't actual magic candles, correct?
These aren't magical candles. They are just spells. These are more magical flames that the candles
I'll
are on.
just scoop the books and because I'm a smart magic caster, I know that I can't purely rely on detect magic because wizards are sneaky bastards. Bartholomew. And I'm also going to give a quick look around to see if there's anything that does stand out to me.
Okay. As you're going through, you're making an investigation check.
Investigation? Not perception at all in any way?
This is definitely like fine-tooth combing is definitely investigation.
Okay. Advantage because I'm spending a lot of time in here? No.
Are you spending a lot of time in here?
I mean, I assume that if I do have my party in here, they're helping me. If not, then I'm one of 4 people looking in 6 rooms.
Okay. Well, in that case, while you begin to investigate, we'll see what other people are doing. What are the rest of you doing?
Frostbyte is also going upstairs, but he is heading into room number.
All right. Very well. Frostbyte, you're going into basically on the opposite side, the kind of like the first room there, or the room on the end. What about Zewxip and Sunny? What are you guys doing?
Well, I don't live in houses and I don't know too much about that stuff. As a sailor, I do know about food and kitchens because I've been around those, as even I have to eat, if only differently. So if I'm going to be looking for something that would be weird in a house, I will. And Sunny, you're welcome to come with Zewxip here. But I think I would be relevant in the galley. I mean the kitchen.
All right. In that case, Sunny, what do you want to do?
Well, first I'm gonna take a quick look around this room and then probably go with Zewxip. Sounds
Okay. Make a cursory perception check. Yeah, you're not seeing much beyond kind of what I had originally described in the space. So in that case, you're gonna step lively and head over to where Zewxip is. All right. In that case, Frostbyte, you open the door. Here, the third door on the end. It opens into a relatively large room here, and the space that you move into, it appears to be a conservatory of some kind. There are all manner of instruments. You can see a very beautiful harp. You can see what appear to be like a few different drums, timpanis, and things. There is a gorgeous grand piano laid out here. That is the kind of general vibe of the room that you walk into. And meanwhile,
all I can say is interesting that they have a conservatory on the second.
Indeed.
I mean, is there anything in the room that stands out? Or?
Also make an investigation check, and switch. Okay, so you got your investigation check. 3. All right. Yeah. I mean, there's some very you don't think they're like the kind of treasures that Bartholomew was talking about. There are some very nice instruments in the space. I mean, you can experiment with some if you want to, but you're not really catching much about anything just off the dome. Meanwhile, you've been looking around this room for a pretty good amount of time now. Switch, you've made what'd you roll
14.
A 14. All right. In that room, you are just kind of like going through. First, you check into the desk drawers, and there's not much there. Like one of the drawers has a false bottom that you find, but there's just nothing in it. Like it was cleared out a while ago. You take the kind of spell books off the thing, and you're reading through, and there are some like interesting titles that you're noticing on some of these books. You see one. It's called The Grungs of Wrath. You see A Clockwork Orig, Invisible Lizard Man, For Whom the Die Rolls, Secret Doors and Where to Find Them, of Near Human Bondage, Kidnapped by Kobolds. Any of those interest you?
All of them interest me, but I'm not opening and reading any of them. I'm just taking the magic ones and putting them in a bag.
Very well. All right, yeah, that's what you kind of find, but you're not like catching too much out of the, not catching too much kind of out of the ordinary there. Meanwhile, back down on the first floor, you guys were kind of walking over to the kitchen. You move forward past the stairs leading upwards and into the kind of party foyer area, and there are quite a few people kind of talking and cavorting around here, and you recognize various adventurers about here. You see, for just a brief moment, Zewxip among the crowd, you see your friend Tizix kind of running by, and you try to catch them, but they're already... Yeah, unfortunately, they're already moved past. But, yeah, you come now to the space, and you get to basically the outside of the kitchen. And the kitchen actually sounds pretty busy. You can hear what sound like knives and things like chopping. You hear the sound of food being prepared and work being undergone. Do you want to enter right in?
Yeah, I'm not going to kick in the door and, freeze. But I would like to walk in and show interest, because I am honestly interested also in what's happening here. This is a different type of food and preparation, though I would imagine as a sailor there might be a methodology, when we inspect the ship, when we try and account for things, make sure that we're good to go. So I would like to start I guess a tour of the kitchen, and if there's a knife, pick up the knife, check it, inspect the cabinets and make sure everything is stowed and secure.
Very good. In that case, you and Sunny begin kind of moving through the kitchen. As you come in, there was quite a bustle of sound and productivity, so you were expecting a busier scene than you saw. But as you walk in, everything in the kitchen seems to be operating entirely on its own. You see pans kind of flipping and sizzling what looked like, kind of being stir-fried vegetables at one point. You can see a great kind of pig with an apple in its mouth over like what looks like a pretty open flame that just seems to be spinning of its own accord as the handle is turned. A knife is just methodically chopping through, and kind of cutting down what seem to be some carrots and some cabbages, kind of slicing and dicing those up for whatever meal that's part of the meal that is for. The kitchen seems to be running entirely autonomously here, save for Mr. Godfrey, who's actually in here, who's there seemingly giving orders to no one, as he's kind of calling out, a little bit easier, if you would, on the bolognese. And he kind of points over. Make sure you flip that ham steak before it gets too long on the frying pan. It's starting to sear. And, kind of giving out various orders to this, like I said, non-existent crew that's manning the kitchen here. And that's the scene you walk into. What do you and Sonny do?
I'll just start a methodical routine to quote unquote check the ship and
all right.
Inspect hinges and implements, and I'm not going to interfere with the cooking, but I'll certainly be taking an active interest in what's around.
Investigation. Seven. Are you also going to be kind of doing the same thing as you're going through, Sonny?
Yeah, but first, before I do that, I am gonna go to the dwarf and
Mr.
use my
Godfrey.
flower power to give him like amazing spice. What was it? Secret spice, the thing that we talked about before in that one adventure.
Yes.
I think it was.
Giving him some secret spice. He kind of goes up to you. Thank you very much, Master Sonny. I'm afraid I am not entirely familiar with this particular spice that you've provided. Is there a particular way you would like me to incorporate it into the meal?
Yeah. It's really, really good on meat, so you should put it on the meat.
I will see to it that the meat is seasoned to your taste. And kind of, again, offers a deep bow. If there is nothing else I can help you with, I will return to my duty. And he continues kind of managing the space. And also, would you like to make an investigation check?
Yes.
21.
Oh, that one's good.
Yeah, there you go. As you're going through, these pans are kind of like sizzling and flipping as things are getting underway here. And you see one of them, you catch as one of them that's kind of going on the underside of the pan. You notice what looks like, most of them are just kind of flat bottoms, but this particular pan, it seems to have like a golden spiral that wraps along the bottom of it, and it's kind of operating high above you. Whatever these invisible hands that move this thing are like sizzling and working a little bit higher up. And there's like kind of like a second rack almost of stovetops over here that they're operating on. The kitchen here is massive and the food preparation scale is significant. But you notice this pan, it definitely looks suspicious in the same way that kind of like crooked minute hand that Bartholomew picked off the clock before looks suspicious.
So how high up is it?
Maybe about 20 feet.
Okay, I'm gonna point to Zewxip and say, we need to go up there.
Would you like to go up there, or should I?
Well, I could get up there, but getting down is gonna be a bit of a problem.
Why is that?
Well, it's kind of a one-way up, I guess.
But there's always a way down.
Yeah, but I don't want to get hurt.
Oh,
There's
you
also
won't
like
get hurt.
there's also some like it's above like a sizzling stovetop, and it looks definitely a little bit tricky to kind of get up to it.
You said it was what, 20 feet up?
Yeah, about 20 feet up, on like a second tier of stovetops that they have kind of like tiered almost and like towered on top of each other here in this kitchen just to maximize space.
Does there look like there's anything to grab hold of or stand on or anything if I were to be at that?
One thing you've noticed is, as you've been moving through, while bunk burners is a word for it, is being said, apparently I'm not really with the term. One thing that you have noticed as you've been moving through here is, both of you, there are actually, it seems like, people operating these equipment. You've kind of bumped into legs of invisible individuals. These might be unseen servants. So you might be able to climb on unseen servants.
Huh. Oh, okay. This seems great.
Climb on the invisible people and take it from their hands.
That sounds like a good idea, but I might have a better.
Fair enough.
Promise you'll catch me if I fall? Maybe?
I will absolutely promise that I will catch you.
Okay. Here goes nothing. I hope I don't die.
All right. You misty step up, and are you just like grabbing onto the pan?
Yes.
Okay, so you grab onto it, and it's no problem because you're right there and you're holding it. But as you're expecting to just kind of fall with it, since it's floating in midair, there is a force that's resisting you as you're trying to pull it away. It's being held onto by an invisible person. So I'd like you to make me a strength check to basically wrest the pan from the hands of this unseen servant.
Okay.
A contested
strength check. Okay. Athletics or just strength?
I'll let you do athletics.
Okay, great.
14. All right, yeah, you go to try to hold on to it, and now you're basically just hovering above the stove here. You can see there's some, meats being grilled on the flat top here, and you're just hanging onto this pan, and while you're doing it, since you were expecting to just grab it and fall, the pan is still moving, and your feet are basically brushing along the stove. You're gonna take 6 points of fire damage as you're just above the stove top. And while you're still holding on to the pan, what are you doing while this is happening, Zewxip?
Well, I am going to, I'm going to help out some.
Oh, geez. You're gonna get big, or?
Yes, I will embigulate Sunny.
Okay, Sunny has become embigified, and over on the side of the room, you see Mr. Godfrey calling, "What in the blazes are you doing over there?"
Oh, I just need this pan really bad. I want to cook something special, and I need this pan. And there's some invisible thing.
It's cultural, Mr. Godfrey. It's cultural.
Make a persuasion check with advantage because of Zewxip there, helping you out, it looks like.
Oh wait, don't we
Do you want me?
Actually, I think I will let either one of you make the persuasion check, and either one of you have advantage, whichever one of you does it.
Would it be persuasion or deception, since I'm kind of lying at this point?
I think, sure, you can justify deception if you'd like to.
Okay.
22, yeah, no problem. And he just seems confused, like he's definitely not buying it per se, but he is there in the corner, kind of like not sure how to act as you're trying to wrest the pan from the unseen servant. Zewxip, you're now below, and with what's your height? How tall are you now that you're able to do this? That you're enlarged.
Ooh, good question. One moment.
Wait,
I'm not enlarged. Sunny's enlarged.
Oh, Sunny's enlarged. You make Sunny big. All right, Sunny. You have advantage on your next athletics check, but with your becoming embiggened, you're definitely gonna get hit by the stove again, just because you're up at the ceiling and you don't have much else to go.
Right.
But you have advantage on your next athletics check to try and wrest the pan from this guy. You roll a 9.
Is that another 6 damage?
It'll be a d6 damage.
Okay, so
All right. So roll athletics to try and pull it away.
I'm going to absolutely, and this would be at advantage.
Yep.
So 15.
15. Yeah, you kind of pull the pan away, and as you do, you feel like something almost give, and then there's just a little puff of magic in the air. As from the force, it looks like you just destroyed this unseen servant as well. Your feet kind of were brushing on the stovetop there. So, oh god, you take another 6 points of fire damage. But then with your huge size now, you're able to just easily kind of hop down without taking any of the falling damage from being a little higher up, which was insignificant anyway. So you take another 6 fire damage, but you now have this pot, and you can see this golden spiral along the bottom of it.
Aha! Okay.
Excellent work.
Thanks.
And as you kind of like stop down to the ground and you kind of make impact, you can see that spiral along the bottom, just the force of you coming down and kind of shaking the pan a little bit, that just plops out and kind of ding, 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 kind of clatters onto the floor of the kitchen here.
Ooh. Okay. Better pick that up, huh?
And it looks like it kind of like uncoils a little bit as it does so, and it looks like a small snake made of solid gold, but it has like a little bit of like life to it as it kind of moves and writhes. This is definitely something that Bartholomew would be interested in, you think?
Okay. Awesome. I think we found something. Great.
All right. And meanwhile, across the other side of the room, or the other side of the world, I know we haven't done much yet with you. Frostbyte, you're in the conservatory.
Yes, and last turn I rolled 3 for investigate, so...
3 for investigate, yeah, so you're not doing too good, but is there anything like in particular? Like I said, there are timpanis and drums, there is a piano, there is a... There's like a very kind of fine harp. There are windows over on the far side looking out and kind of curtains and such.
Do I see any sort of trunk in this?
You're looking for a trumpet specifically, you said?
Trunk.
Oh, a trunk. The piano seat appears to be also like double as a chest.
I will go over to the piano and open it. Or try to open it anyway.
You open it. The interior of it, yeah, it opens easily. It seems to have all just manner of like sheet music and things like that inside of it. Books. You can see there are also a couple of just loose like minor instruments. You can see a couple of like egg shakers. It looks like just small, almost miniature maracas, just accessory percussion. There's also some sheet music on the piano that's currently open.
You know what? I'm going to... Okay. Is there... Do I see, like, any, like, cooler body of water like, from where I am?
Can you see a body of water?
Like a pool or something. Like a pool or a pond.
You mean, like, out the window?
Yeah, like, even out the window.
There doesn't... It just appears to be forest around outside of you. I mean, you could get a glass of water. You could also, you know, if you need anything, you can always ask Mr. Godfrey.
Alright, I will go to Mr. Godfrey and ask if there is a pool within the manor.
Alright, do you say his name?
Yeah.
And while you're in the conservatory, you just kind of holler out for Mr. Godfrey, and from immediately behind you, where you kind of, it's just somewhere in your blind spot, you just hear him say, "Yes, what can I help you with?"
This might be a clear question, but is there any sort of pool within the manor?
There is not a pool in the traditional sense. You could look within the courtyard. There is something of a fountain in there that might be useful for your purposes. It's rather large.
All right, thank you. That will be all.
Very well. I'm happy to be of service. And he walks briskly out of the room. He kind of, as you kind of follow, he points over to the door to the right of the one that Switch had gone into before. Appears to be where he's gesturing is the best way to get to the courtyard.
All right, I open the door.
All right, you go across the hallway. Meanwhile, we have Sarah. You've been investigating this room. You grabbed the spell books, it seems like, and kind of pulled them off the shelves. You've been going through and investigating stuff as thoroughly as you can. Like I said, there were those books of miscellaneous titles that you saw, but nothing else too crazy in here as far as you can tell. Anything else you want to do in that space, or do you want to move on?
Well, if you said that I, like, investigated that place as thoroughly as I can, then I'll move on.
All right. In that case, you're going to go where? Also, at this point, I think at this point, this is also a point where you guys kind of reconvene and all pass through like the central kind of space again. So you're all there if you want to communicate at all.
I guess I'll just note that they came out of that one place and then moved into the other place. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the one on the left of the room that I just from.
Okay. So you're going to the same one that
Well, they went
Frostbyte
to
went to.
3, and then
they went across the
To
other
5.
side, which was across from you. Yeah. So they're going to 6 now, and 6 is left of you.
I'm gonna go to 4.
Okay, very well.
They went to 3 and 6. I went to 5, and then I'm gonna go to 4.
All right.
That leaves 1 and 2.
What about you, Zewxip and Sunny?
I'll communicate what we did in the kitchen.
All right,
Right.
yeah. You're gonna go up and kind of show off the treasure that you guys found.
Yeah. Also, I think I'm still large at this point. I don't think it's been a full minute.
I mean, this is probably realistically, this is about the time at which you're, since you're walking back from the kitchen, this is about the time at which your enlarged state fades.
Oh, darn.
All right. But yeah, you come up, you catch on the kind of second floor balcony, you catch Sarah and Frostbyte as they're both going off to other rooms. What do you guys say? You do.
Oh, we found a golden snake in the kitchen. And also, there's not exactly people that cook the food here. They're magical people. Or they're not people, but they're magic that look like people that you can't see. No, that's not how you describe them. Sonny, help me out. I'm having a difficult time.
They're invisible people. Magical, invisible people.
Would you say that they are unseen servants?
Yes, that would be exactly how I describe them.
Huh.
And Mr. Godfrey was able to command them all at once, in a very coordinated effort.
And as you say that from behind you, Mr. Godfrey just kind of speaks from somewhere in your blind spot as he's just all of a sudden there. Just, yes, what can I help you with?
Mr. Godfrey, you are a talented man. Thank you very much for letting someone like me see how you prepare your food.
It is a privilege to be able to serve you here in the manner and any way that I can. Thank you.
Oh, I kind of have your pot. I'm sorry. Here. I hand him back the pan or whatever it was.
You no longer require the use of our pan.
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Very well. No apologies are necessary. It is yours to use as you see fit when you see fit to do so. And with that, he takes it and shuffles off, seeming to be nothing that he's needed for at the moment.
Mr. Godfrey, one moment.
Yes.
Would you please take me out to the compost heap where you gathered this soil? I would love to see and taste and wiggle my remaining appendages inside of it.
Actually, that was taken from the garden here within the interior. It is in the courtyard. I have just sent your friend, and he kind of points over to Frostbyte, who's already walking in that direction. I have just instructed the location to your friend Frostbyte. I'm sure Master Zewxip, he would be happy to show you the way, unless you require my assistance further.
I'm gonna look at the others who are here, and hopefully like give. Do you want me to distract them? Kind of like a little twitch or a little facial expression.
Okay. I just say it verbally. Okay.
So you're gonna go off with Godfrey?
Yes. Yeah. I'll go with Godfrey and Frostbyte out to the garden.
All right. You go with them. Sunny, where are you going?
Back to Bartholomew to hand him the golden.
Oh yes, he's kind of mingling with some of the adventurers.
Very good. This is the golden adder. It is priceless. Very excellent.
And he takes it and he kind of just tucks it into his bag, which of course he's carrying. And he says,
Very good. Get back out there. Keep going. Anything you can find.
I hand him the books that I got.
A couple of spell books here. I don't know if I'd call these treasures per se, but I'm going to take them anyway. Maybe there's something in there I can find. Thank you. And he grabs onto those and also tosses them into the bag.
Then I head to room 4.
All right, you go into room 4, and as you pop open the door to room 4, it appears to be a trophy room. You can see there are trophies in a lot of different manners here, both literal and more figurative. You can see there are some animal heads kind of mounted on the walls in places. There are also what appear to be like a number of just trophies. There are medals, scrolls and various items of, certificates of recognition, diplomas, things of that nature. The animal heads on the wall, they appear to be of a prehistoric nature. You can see what looks like a saber-toothed tiger, and then like a big kind of woolly mammoth, almost a massive head. It takes up like a good portion of the wall.
Okay.
And if you want to
go back to Zewxip?
Yeah, sure. And meanwhile, over at the garden,
Zewxip.
Yeah, Zewxip and Frostbyte, I think, are both heading over to the garden. Oh, Bunny. Yeah, Bunny, where are you going after you drop that thing off at Bartholomew?
I'm gonna go back probably to the garden, but before I'm gonna say, I kind of hurt myself. Can you help me out, Mr. Bartholomew, please?
Oh, he looks over at you. Yes, your feet are a little bit burned. And he kind of thinks, why don't you eat some of that candy?
Oh, okay.
Wait, aren't you very good at healing?
Yeah.
I actually don't have the ability to heal. I'm not a cleric or anything of that nature. Certainly not divine.
Oh, so I don't get anything for handing you a thing, not even a potion or nothing. Okay, fine.
When you get paid, you get paid at the end of the day.
Oh, okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And he kind of waves you away, like, get out of here, scamp. So you're going to the garden as well?
Right, and then I guess I'm gonna take my healing light to heal my... But I think I'm gonna do 2. So...
Okay, cool. You heal yourself up for... Oh, perfect. Yeah, you knocked it out of the park. You get it all back. You're at 100%. And you step into the garden. Mr. Godfrey is standing with you. As you walk through this door, it appears to be into kind of a vaulted chamber. This part, there's like a little bit of a hallway that you have to walk down after you pass through here and kind of curve around to the left. But as you come to this space, there is a big kind of glass top into what appears to be a very pleasant indoor garden. There is a fountain at the center of it. There kind of seems to be like a cherub holding a trumpet that's kind of shooting water out of it. There are all manner of plants. You can see two very large holes that have been dug up in the ground, just kind of seemingly randomly from the garden here, presumably where the dirt came from. And Mr. Godfrey says, please enjoy your stay in the courtyard. If there's anything you need, as always. And he bows and steps away. And yeah, you guys have the run. There's, where you're coming into it, you're actually on like a raised balcony looking over the space, but there is a simple kind of spiral staircase leading down to get into the garden proper. And there are all manner of like trees here, beautiful lush plants, willows that kind of hang over, creating almost like curtains as you're moving through the garden and like passing into different areas. Yeah.
I'll descend and I've tasted the dirt here, but I would like to go and try the water. So I want to begin my investigation in this area at the fountain.
Very well. The fountain itself, as you get closer to it, there's I think 3 of you are there now. You can see that there is a horn on the fountain, and it appears to be made of like a beautiful jade, and it shimmers a little bit in the light. And it's the horn that the kind of water is coming out of here. Also, looking down in the fountain, there are a few like miscellaneous coins and things that people seem to have just tossed in. But yeah, this horn is definitely intriguing looking.
All right. Then, if this is getting me to think that this is a suspicious horn, and as well as seeing the example of replacing the things that we have taken, I'm going to look around maybe for a bucket or something else that I might be able to. It's not a horn, but something that I might be able to replace.
Something that you can toss. There's some very long, almost like vase-like flowers. Do you know the ones that I'm talking about that kind of have?
Pitcher plants?
Yeah, pitcher plants. Thank you. That kind of curve up that you could maybe slide in if you wanted to. There's also some kind of like thick vines that hang around here. Like I said, creating kind of curtains.
I did see some music instruments in one of the rooms up there.
Oh, would you be able to fetch a horn then?
Yes, but you'll have to move a trunk.
Oh?
Yes. Suffice it to say, I have to get the trunk out here and.
All right, so you're gonna go into the room and try and find something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you need help doing that then, Frostbyte?
I would like some help with that. I mean, we can get the horn at the same time in there, so.
Well, you are quick, yes?
Yes.
Very well. You have.
All right.
You're enlarging me.
Making them big?
Yeah.
All right, you're able to just zip over very quickly with your enlarged size as you kind of climb back up and then walk across the hall. You're just able to like reach up. Well, you have your spider climb anyway, so you just, you just barrel over.
I just.
And as it lasts a minute, you're basically shrinking back down right as you get over to the other door, just in time to fit through it.
Dragging the trunk and the horn.
Oh, wait, you're trying to shrink the horn. I thought they were shrinking you. I was very confused.
Wait, what, are you trying to enlarge me or shrink?
Yeah, I guess
large. Yes, Frostbyte is now large.
So that way you can...
So it's to... Okay, so what I'm doing is going to the other room, grabbing both the trunk and the horn, and then coming back with it. Really, that's what I'm trying.
Okay. So you're grabbing the trunk and you're grabbing the grabbing the horn. All right. You go into the other room, and as you kind of come into the room, the piano, which was previously silent, seems to be playing itself. And if you want to think about what you want to do about that, I'll zip back over.
I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on my blindfold of shadows first and foremost.
You can see. You have blind sight now, right?
Yes.
All right. You toss out the blindfold of shadows, and there does not seem to be an unseen servant that is playing the piano. It appears that the interior mechanisms of the piano are just moving themselves. The hammers on the piano moving up and down, reverberating the strings.
Okay. So this either the piano or the things in the piano.
Good.
I'm still grabbing a horn.
You grab a horn.
I'm gonna place it on top of the piano, along with the trunk.
Okay.
And try and move all three items.
The piano, you're not going to be able to fit out that door without destroying it. You're not sure how they got it. It was probably built into the house, is like what your guess is.
Yeah, I could move it out the window.
That also,
Wait.
no.
Before I do that, I wish I could send a message to Bartholomew. That's some...
Well, again, while you think about this, let me zip back over to Sarah for a moment.
Yeah.
And Sarah, you're in this room, and you've been examining the trophy room for a little bit of time now. And as you've been walking through, again, you're not finding anything, but all of a sudden, as you're walking past that saber-toothed tiger, you just feel like a subtle breath on your neck.
I look around the room to see if there's anyone in here with me.
There isn't.
Okay, and it was as I was walking past the saber-toothed tiger?
Yeah.
I guess I'm looking at that saber-toothed tiger.
All right, you get up close to it. It looks like a very old animal. It's acclimated to an icy kingdom. It has its mouth kind of open in a roaring pattern.
I check to see if there's breath coming from the saber-toothed tiger's mouth.
All right, you kind of put your hand in front of the mouth, and you're just kind of standing there holding it. You're not feeling anything, and a couple of moments pass, and another couple of moments pass, and all of a sudden you see the saber-toothed tiger blink, and then just kind of pant a couple of times like it was holding its breath. And then it just goes back to being perfectly still.
Alright, I'm gonna pull on its whiskers.
And as you do so, it's going to make a ready-to-action attack against you.
Okay.
But it doesn't have advantage because you definitely knew it was alive. It's a 19.
Oh, 19 hits.
Oh, wow. So yeah, it lashes down as you pull on its whiskers and kind of bites onto your hand. And for a brief moment, you could see kind of as the tooth kind of pierced into you, you notice that one of those teeth is actually stained kind of a very bright red. Not with blood, it just seemed to be a red tooth.
Okay. I'll take it off the wall.
The tiger?
Yep.
It's right. It's mounted to the wall, and as you kind of like go and pull on it, it's not mounted to the wall. It seems to just be a saber-toothed tiger with its head poking through a hole in the wall. And then the mammoth over to the left begins to kind of stir and shake its head, and its big kind of trunk swings around and tries to kind of like whip over at you, but you're a little bit too far away over next to the saber-toothed tiger, but that one's also seems to be coming after you. But it can't move because it's also stuck in the wall.
Okay. I'm just gonna avoid any dangerous heads in the walls, and I'm gonna go see if I can go find Bartholomew, because there's some stuff going on here.
All right, you go and back away, but you've seen this red tooth now that you imagine might be in that category, and you zip back down to Bartholomew. Frostbyte, you're at a piano. Zewxip and Sunny, do you guys want to also be in the space with Frostbyte? You can have gone with him if you want, since it's taken a little while.
Yeah, because we said that we were in the
yeah, you were all in the courtyard, but now you can go back up to the conservatory. So you're all in the conservatory if you want to be so, and you're there. The piano's playing itself. What do you guys all want to do? You found a trumpet.
Yeah. Well, if one of them can shrink the piano using reduce, we might be able to fit it out the door.
I don't think you can cast it on an object. Forgive me if I'm incorrect about that.
You can cast it on an object.
Yes, you can. You can.
All right, yeah. With a reduce spell, then I think you can. Oh, you're right. My apologies. Yeah, I think you could get the piano out the door. It'd be a little awkward, but with a reduce spell, you could do it. If you want to get the piano out of there for some reason.
Yes. Well, the piano is obviously at least valuable in some way. Now that we know that it can play itself.
Fair enough.
So yes, I want to take the piano to the courtyard.
You've broken.
Now that is actually I should say if I reduce the piano, you will no longer be invigilated.
Well, the invigilation only lasts a minute anyway.
Yeah.
Did that go away after we used the height to move the trunk and get the trumpet and all that?
Yeah, I think.
So
Okay.
we're basically. Right. So yeah, we're using the piano as a table to move the trunk and the trumpet, and we're reducing it at the same time.
I can't wait to roll a 10 or lower in the Big Bag Bonanza and get Pete's puny piano.
So you're gonna bring the piano out. So are you reducing the piano, Zewxip?
Before we do, can I do something real quick? I just want to listen to the piano and see if there's like.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you turn the as soon as you reduce the piano, it becomes comically high pitched.
Oh god.
It's a very good name for an item. All right, and are you just bringing that straight over to Bartholomew?
I'm gonna wheel it outside first into the
courtyard
because I don't want the butler to see us taking this piano.
Okay, well I'll just say
because
I think you're getting thrown off a little bit about the layout.
Chances are the butler's going to be with the other adventure at some point.
Yeah. So also, I mean, you know that he always comes when you call. One of you could just call him somewhere else, and you could do it easily.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask one of the either Zewxip or Sunny to distract the butler.
Okay, while you steal this tiny piano.
Yes, and then we will send the other after Bartholomew. Ask the other to go for Bartholomew and tell him about the piano in the courtyard.
So it's the courtyard. Just to be clear, the courtyard is opposite. So you had to leave the courtyard and come back through the foyer to get to the piano, since they're not like adjacent to each other.
I know, like.
So, but you do that. Basically, you get the piano.
Yeah, I'm moving the piano into the courtyard while the butler is distracted.
And you bring Bartholomew to it.
Yeah.
Bartholomew kind of looks over
to move the trunk into the fountain.
Okay. Bartholomew looks over at you. You're there now as well, Sarah, because you wanted to talk to Bartholomew. He goes, "What am I going to do with a tiny piano?" And he starts looking over it, and he goes, "Oh, wow." And he kind of plucks down into the innards of it and pulls out what looks like one of those piano hammers that operates the keys. And the piano's still playing, because the piano's enchanted, which is great. But this, and he kind of, as he plucks it off, it transforms into a massive, like, very elaborate-looking war hammer. He goes, "This is something I can use," and he tosses it right into the bag. And he goes, "Good job taking the whole piano out. But I don't know if that was actually the stealthiest way to go, but I love this strategy nonetheless." And so he kind of wanders off. He goes to you, Sarah. What do you want to say, Sarah?
I'm going to ask Bartholomew if he can mage hand that red tooth.
No, I have to mingle.
Don't you lie to me, Bartholomew. You hate people.
I like a few people.
None of them are here.
Everyone's here.
Yes, I imagine the piano is back to its regular size by now.
Oh yeah, and this is the point at which Bartholomew, who's right next to it, the piano gets big, and it just kind of knocks him over goofily, as he doesn't expect it to suddenly grow. And falls over.
I'm getting out of here. That's why I'm paying you. Also, I have my own treasures to look for.
Bartholomew, there are several living prehistoric animals, if you are interested in...
No, I can summon those if I need to.
Okay.
And he steps off.
I turn to the rest of the party.
The trumpet and the fountain.
That looks very nice. Yes, definitely grab that for me. I'll meet you back in a little bit.
All right. And I suppose after dumping the.
You throw the trunk in. You dunk that trunk. This does not seem to be the intent of their message, and it's just a now soggy trunk. But it's a very good foothold to climb up and reach up to the trumpet.
Yes. Make the switch.
All right. As you do so, what are all of your passive perceptions?
My passive perception is 16.
Mine is 11.
17.
10.
Let us see. All right. Actually, none of you, unfortunately, see. As Dinder, you're kind of reaching up to grab onto this. You're reaching up to grab onto this trumpet, and as you do so, you suddenly start to feel something around your neck. The rest of you at the last moment catch it, but some of the vines that are hanging around the courtyard here begin to move and seem to like come after you, animating with life, as they're going to make an attack against you with advantage.
Before this, could I have asked the party if anyone had the spell Mage Hand?
Yes, you could have.
Does anyone have Mage Hand?
No, but I do have something better.
And as you say, I do have something better. Does a 15 get you, Frostbyte?
Let us see. Yes, it does.
As you say, I do have something better. You're interrupted by the cries of Frostbyte as one of these vines comes down and begins strangling Frostbyte around the neck. You see another one of these vines was starting to move down towards you, Sunny, but it hadn't kind of acted quick enough. As you're now being strangled by an assassin vine, I would like you to roll for initiative.
Okay. Everybody?
Yeah, everybody.
Okay. Darn it, that wasn't too great, but it's all.
And the assassin vine got a surprise round, and it's going to also roll for initiative. Or it goes last. So in that case, the first one to act is you, Zewxip. You're currently restrained as this vine is curling up around you and trying to lock you into place. You've grabbed onto this treasured trumpet, but now you're here in grave danger. Zewxip, what do you want to do as the first to act?
I will, I will, spend a third level spell slot, in order to enlarge myself.
Very good. Signature move.
And I will bust out and try and get out of here. Maybe just sort of tear through this place and free the others if I...
You're all kind of around the fountain at the moment, so you're like near Frostbyte. If you want to try and like, are you trying to like tear the vines off him, or are you just running?
Yeah.
Well, now do I need to spend? I cast.
Oh,
I
it's
cast
your
a spell
action.
on me,
Okay, yeah.
But are there any other actions or something else on my turn I have available, or do I need to wait?
If you have a bonus action or a move action that you want to do, then otherwise, I guess yes, you would need to wait.
Okay. Nope. I'll wait unless I can, I don't know, move to a more advantageous position.
I mean, you could be closer to Frostbyte if you wanted to.
Yeah,
do
just
that.
kind of whatever, inch over.
Yeah, sure. You get uptight as we move next initiative to Frostbyte. You're being strangled. At the start of your turn, you take that 12 points of poison damage.
Okay. Wait, did I take it?
You did not take it initially. Now is the time that you take it.
Okay.
So you've taken in total 23 damage, and it's your turn. What do you want to do?
Yeah. Well, I want to try and get it off me, of course.
All right. Yeah, make an athletics check to try and escape.
All right.
Or athletics or acrobatics, whichever you prefer.
Acrobatics.
All right, roll away. 14 is exactly what you needed. As you kind of wriggle and move yourself free, you were suspended. You were a little bit up, but you were kind of on top of this fountain. You jump down, and yeah, you're kind of like free of this thing's immediate grasp. But it's got a lot of range. What do you want to do? You still have a bonus action and a move action.
Alright, let's see. I will cast Misty Step to
get out of the range of it.
Yeah, to move out.
Yeah,
of the
absolutely. You Misty Step. You become kind of a puff of mist and get farther away into the courtyard where you're safer. That's gonna bring us next in initiative to Sarah. What do you want to do?
To be clear, he has the horn, right?
He has the horn.
Who? Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Cool.
have it.
Can I leave?
All right, you're gonna provoke an opportunity attack from Assassin Vine if you want to do that.
Sure.
All right. That's a 20.
Oh, I actually had a question.
Yep.
Would it still provoke an up attack if I took the disengage action?
No.
Okay, then I do that.
But you didn't say that.
All right.
Yeah.
Hits.
You can't wait till after it hits. It's 11 points of bludgeoning damage as it coils around you, and you are now also restrained as these assassin vines writhe and curl up around your form.
I'm gonna slap it.
All right, swing away.
RO less than 2. And I'm gonna channel divinity on this as well.
Why you
And
RO
this
less
is
than
gonna
2?
be fire. Because of Amulet of Inferno.
Oh.
Does a 20 hit?
20 is going to hit, absolutely. Roll damage on that.
21 fire damage.
21 fire damage. As you push the fire kind of into the assassin vine, you kind of expect to, to like burn and move up inside, but instead it's actually less effective than you initially thought it was going to be. It seems the vine is very healthy and vital, and the fire quenches quickly. It has resistance.
He's also going to take 13 necrotic damage.
That it does not have any resistance to, as it takes a total of 23 points of damage, necrotic and otherwise, as you use your channel divinity to touch of death it. Anything else on your turn?
Yeah, I'm going to drink a potion.
All right, you use a bonus action to down a potion and gain some health back. As we move next to Sunny, what do you want to do, Sunny?
You said that I took 11, correct?
You took 11. You've not taken the poison damage as of yet.
So, it's my turn, okay.
Yep.
I know what I'm gonna do. You can't get me if I am covered in bees!
All right, you make bees kind of swirl out around you magically. They're extended around you for 5 feet in every direction. Anything else on your turn?
Yeah, that's a bonus action. So I go,
Yep.
I move away. I use my movement action to go back towards the foyer area.
There was a second one that was right near you. That's going to provoke an
quickly.
opportunity attack. Are you cool with that?
Ooh.
Pete, did you
Yes.
say that it has resistance to fire?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, you're right. It just takes regular damage.
Yep.
You got me there.
No, I'm not okay with that. In which case, I'll take the disengage action and move.
Okay. All right, you disengage and you step away, and then, you get up to the area where the foyer is. You and Frostbyte are both kind of away from the vines now as we move to the vine's turn. And here in this space, there's only Zewxip and Stera, so they're going to go after you, Zewxip. This other one, that's a 10 to you, Zewxip. Does that hit?
No.
All right, yeah, it goes to tangle around you, but your form is too large and you brush it aside. The other one's just continuing. The vines are just continuing to constrict you, Sarah. But they don't do any action to do that. You're just continuing to be restrained as it has a hold on you right now. And that's going to bring us next to you, Zewxip. What do you want to do, Zewxip? One of your allies is restrained. The other vine is still kind of hovering around to her to safety.
Yes, I'm confident in my ability to navigate the vine, so I will use my action to see if I can free Sarah. That way, Sarah can take her turn to go and escape or do something else. So I'll make an athletics to try and break him if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. You go over to Sarah. You're not like moving outside of the op attack range, so go ahead and make. I'll let you just make an athletics check or like a strength or athletics check for Sarah in this case, and you have advantage, I think. Or does that give you any bonus for being enlarged?
Advantage.
Yeah, okay, so I thought. So go ahead and make me a strength or athletics with advantage. That's a crit 20. You tear the vine off of Sarah. Sarah, you're completely freed from its grasp. Do you want to try and run away? It would provoke, I think at this point, actually 2 op attacks, as you're in a little bit of a dangerous space now, Zewxip. But both of you are also free. What's the play?
Well, I'm gonna tell Sarah, run, get out of here.
All right.
Let me handle this.
Okay. In that case, you stand against the tide of vines as we move next to Frostbyte. Frostbyte, you're on the outskirts. Anything you want to do?
I think I will use Magic Missile on the vines.
All right. You're going to go after the one I assume that Sarah already hit?
Yeah.
Go ahead and make or roll damage. You don't have to make an attack roll. What am I talking about?
One. And I know it's multiple, I think. Oh, and just to make clear, I am using a plus slot. Oh. Let's see. It is. I'm trying to remember how many darts it is. Okay, so it's 12.
What level spell are you casting?
3.
Third, so that would be 6 darts.
Right.
I'm sorry, 5 darts.
Yeah, I just figured that out. I just have to
So roll me 4
the
more.
extra damage because if I remember.
I'll just discount it. You can just roll them. Oh, great.
5.
All right, so total damage is 9, 13, 18 points of damage. All right, as these, or other 20, as these vines get pummeled with missiles, you watch as one of them, the one that Sarah already kind of damaged, just kind of curls and snarls. The end of it kind of breaks off and starts kind of writhing around on the ground, and it kind of recoils backwards up into the tree, having been taken out this first one, with something of a hiss. That's going to bring us next in initiative to Sarah.
Cool. I'm gonna bonus action cast Spiritual Weapon.
Okay,
Bap.
you got it. That's going to be 12 damage.
12
Yeah, absolutely.
fire, not resisted.
Yeah, fire, but you ignore resistance, which is very good. So you smack it for 12.
And then I'm going to cast Toll the Dead since it is wounded. Can you make me a Wisdom saving throw?
I can do this for you.
Does my Amulet of
succeed.
Inferno... I mean, it doesn't really matter, but does my Amulet of Inferno apply to my DC?
No, God, no. Lol.
+2. Alright. Then take that.
You know, that's 8 points of fire damage as you strike it with a fiery spiritual weapon, and then it ignites in flame from your Toll the Dead, thanks to the power of your amulet. It takes a total of 20 points of damage. Anything else? Stay where you are?
I'll move a little bit out of the way towards its blind spot.
Alright, you're kind of encircling around it. In that case, that's going to bring us to Sunny. What do you want to do, Sunny?
Okay. This thing looks bad, but not too bad. Maybe a little. I got an idea.
But not too bad.
Yeah, exactly, right? Do this.
You're going to hex it. Alright.
Yeah,
and then anything else?
Yes. The other thing is so that's a bonus action.
Yep.
And then the action is going to be a
All right, they're going to make a saving throw against that.
wisdom.
Oh wait, that's the wrong thing. That's not a saber-toothed tiger head. It's an 18 though. They actually succeed.
Oh gosh, no!
Yeah.
It fails.
It's a wise vine, unfortunately. Yeah, you go to toll it, but it resists the effect as we move back to the vine's turn, which is going to whip down and try and get you, Sarah, once more. That's a critical failure. It misses. And that's going to bring us to Zewxip.
Well, if others are gone, no one needs help. I'm gonna get out of here too.
All right, disengage, run away.
Yep.
Only Sarah's still in the fray as we move next in initiative to Frostbyte.
I will Magic Missile again.
Swing away, fire away.
And once again, this is 3rd level. So that is 1, 2, 3,
All right. Another pummeling of damage as you kind of pour it on with this magic. Another 17, it looks like. And as it strikes in, hammering down to one point, there's a flimsy thread of it that still remains untouched as it moves next initiative to you, Sarah.
Bonk.
Roll that to hit.
16.
Would you care to describe your killing blow on it? It cannot survive.
The giant flaming skull that is Sarah's spiritual weapon bites down
yes.
on this vine.
And it bites through and kind of pierces. The flames kind of curve up, ignoring the life of the vine, still seeming to consume them as the vine also hisses and kind of pulls itself back upwards into the tree. And you all have defeated these vines, and you've obtained that trumpet.
I think you need to go back to your roots.
The vines would take psychic damage if they weren't already run away. And with that, you're gonna bring that back to Bartholomew? Yeah.
Yes, but before I do that, I placed the trump that I had taken from the
you toss it in there. The fountain was just kind of like lazily. The fountain was just kind of like lazily dripping water, but once you put the trumpet back in, it's coming out of the trumpet. It once again kind of spurts because it needed that pressure to be concentrated to a point to work. So you fix the statue with a new trumpet, and you bring the old one to Bartholomew.
Yep.
All right. So Bartholomew looks over the kind of group of you and goes, "Good. That's so far. That's the hammer, which you got from the piano. The trumpet now, very good." He takes that jade trumpet and kind of looks at it admiringly before tossing it in his bag. And the golden adder. Excellent. I found that clock piece before.
Yes,
We're doing quite well. Go get that tooth, and I think we'll call it a day, yeah?
Tooth?
Yes. Sarah was speaking about the tooth they saw in the tiger. It seemed to have some value.
Sarah nods and leads the way to the tooth.
All right. You work your way upstairs and you enter into this chamber, and you see, as you walk in, Frostbyte, what appears to be a trunked animal that is here kind of living. As you walk in, Sarah, they're like stopping, but as soon as they see it's you, they kind of get into a battle pose because they know their jig is already up. These two heads on the wall.
All right.
Do you all go in here?
Not all the way in. I'll be at the door, but yeah.
All right, you kind of
from the door.
You just step into the frame and are hanging back avoiding the animals.
Before Frostbyte enters the room, he's going to. Let's see. He's going to cast Snowball Storm into the room.
All right, you throw a bunch of snowballs in, and the animals with it are going to make dexterity saving throws. They fail because they're stuck in a wall, and they get hit for a bunch of damage. As you're hanging back, they both kind of let out. The elephant trunk goes. Saber's like, kind of is trying to like bite at you, but they can't really move. Zewxip, are you hanging in there? I assume as well.
Yeah, I'm there with the others.
All right, and I think given a couple of moments, you're able to basically just describe to me how you guys as a group extract the tooth.
I just
have
keep
enough.
ringing this bell over and over and over again.
What?
I have an option, guys. I really do. You guys hating, but I gotta.
What's your way?
It's called Thorn Whip, my dude. Thorn Whip.
Oh, righteous. All right, so you step up. You step up and into the room, and you toss the Thorn Whip over. And I was gonna give you a very high AC on just the tooth, but a 24 does hit that high AC.
I'd even offer to assist with my own too to kind of double up.
Yeah, I mean you're good. I think in conjunction, the Thorn Whips go out, and the tiger it kind of roars a little bit, and then the tooth, once it's wrapped around there, comes free surprisingly easily. Like it wasn't entirely on there, and as soon as that tooth disappears, you just see a regular tooth pop back up in its place, and the thing kind of like shakes its head. And this tooth, like I said, it's red. It seems to be like, it seems to be made of a ruby almost, and there's what looks like pulsing kind of strains of magic that are there within it. Are you guys going to bring it back down to Bartholomew?
For sure.
All right. As you turn to exit and kind of go out of the room, there's no door.
Oh.
I'd like to see if I can touch and examine this wall.
It seems solid. You're kind of pressing on it and you bang a little bit. It sounds very solid. It does not seem to be hollow on the other side of it.
Even through the blindfold of shadows?
Even through the blindfold of shadows, as you're extending your sight outward,
It just appears to be a solid wall.
you are just in what appears to be a solid box. And the light of candles, which was lighting up this room, go out.
Sarah's gonna call out, Godfrey.
There's no reply.
What about the animals on the wall?
The animals on the wall are still, and they
I
seem
go
to,
over to the trunked animal and lift it off the wall.
as you go to pick it up, it just kind of fades from your grasp as it seems to disappear in your hands, and there's just an empty placard along the wall, not the hole in the wall that you'd seen before where the heads were coming through. And shadows at the corner of the room begin to creep up and around and slowly encompass the room in a complete and absolute darkness. The rest of you are suddenly blinded as this magical darkness overtakes the room. You, however, with your blind sight and a mask, see in the space, as soon as this darkness takes over, a form. You cannot tell anything with your blind sight, only a shape, a medium creature, it would appear. And they kind of motion their hand, and everything goes completely black as well for you. And the four of you disappear. And that's where our first adventure is going to end. You've all, well, if you survive this predicament, somehow, all of you will earn 200 Bartholomew bucks and gain 1 point of experience. And I thank all of you very much for participating in our first adventure.
Thank you for the fun.
Thanks.
Uh-oh.
I have no idea what's going on, but it seems cool. So.
And Jeremy, are we clear?
Well, we're not clear yet, but we're clear now. We'll be back in a second, guys.
We'll be back in a second.